channel. I'm back to break down this 15-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into the breakdown, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. Nailed it again last night, going with Joey Gallo, going yards, so you'll love to see it. Been on an absolute roll with those home run calls, so if you like home run calls in your lineups, make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video. And if you are interested in some premium content, I do offer that. It's linked below in the description. You get access to all the same tools that I use when building my own MLB DFS lineups. I've been off to a good start in MLB so far this season, taking on multiple tournaments. And I've been getting some good feedback from my Patreon. Just did a completely revamp of the Discord chat. Things should be working a lot smoother over there on the Discord as well. So excited for that. Some more interaction with you patrons. And then lastly, don't forget to check out Prize Picks. Use promo code KJK DFS when you sign up today using the link below in the description to get your deposit matched up to $100. I'll be giving out some Prize Picks thoughts on this show as well. Giving you guys some of my favorite plays as we're going along, discussing our favorite stacks and such. You know, a lot of it's going to correlate. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. And the top guy on the slate today, without a doubt, is going to be Mr. Jacob deGrom. Comes in with a 36.1% K overall, a 37.9% K rate against righties, and a 34% K rate against lefties. At this point, I think most people know Jacob deGrom is the best pitcher in the league. He's pitching in Citi Field, which is one of the best pitching environments in baseball. It doesn't look like it's going to be 85 degrees with 13-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out to center, so that might make things not quite as friendly as they usually are. But put up the chart here, you can see Citi Field, a lot of red going on there as far as hitting. And you love to see that when you're targeting pitchers in that environment. He comes as a 278 favorite. He's priced at 11.8 on FanDuel. Over here on DraftKings, he's priced at 11.5. And he's taking on a Milwaukee Brewers team that strikes out a bunch. So everything kind of matches up here for Jacob deGrom. Obviously, the top option on the slate without even blinking an eye. So, you know, he's going to be a priority for you. We got Carlos Rodon taking on the Minnesota Twins. Comes in with a 32.9% K overall, 14.2 swinging strike rate. 33% K rate against righties, and a 32.2% K rate against lefties. Very good across the board as well. Taking on a Minnesota squad tonight that has been a little bit K-happy as of late. Does look like there could be some weather concerns, but it is in Minnesota, which would be a pitching environment upgrade for Carlos Rodon. Pulling up the Minnesota Twins chart. Not the best pitching ballpark, but definitely not the best hitting ballpark. And I definitely think that Rodon can get the job here with his 30% K rate over both sides, both handedness of pitchers. That's very impressive, so you got to like him. We have Shohei Otani taking on the Boston Red Sox. I'm not going to be nearly as interested in him, to be honest. His control really hasn't been there. The Red Sox are a very hard matchup for him. Not really getting all too excited. The next guy I would be getting excited for is Arenado taking on the Chicago Cubs. Comes with a 28.7% K overall, 29.1% K rate against righties, and a 28.2% K rate against lefties. Very good across the board as far as ground ball, fly ball stuff is concerned as well. And he's taken on a Chicago Cubs team that has been striking out a lot. The only issue here is the hitting weather in Chicago. 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to straightaway center in Wrigley Field, which is the field that is most impacted by wind in the league. 89 degrees, great hitting weather. It's a little scary for me when you're factoring in this hitting environment. If you go and pull up the chart here, you can see that it's pretty green across the board as is, and then you factor in that wind, and it just becomes a hitter's paradise. So I definitely have interest in Arenado. I definitely think he has a strikeout upside. It's just the problem is if he lets the ball get in the air, or if he hangs a few over the plate, that there's a good chance that those balls could be gone and he could be out of the game a little bit early. So you got to factor these things in, of course, when you're picking your pitchers. I do think that he's a decent option, but not maybe the best one. We have Luis Castillo taking on the Kansas City Royals, 27.2% K overall, 27.2% K rate against righties, and a 27.2% K rate against lefties. So very identical across the board. And as far as where he's pitching today, it's going to be in Kauffman Stadium. As far as the ballpark here, well, the problem is that the outfield is a very large one, so the ball does have a tendency to land, but if you can get those strikeouts, we don't have to worry about that anyways. It is 88 degrees with 8-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. Not the best pitching weather either, but you can see there's a trend on this slate. You know, everyone's going to be dealing with probably not the best pitching environment outside of, I mean, we talked about deGrom, the number one pitcher on the slate who has a great hitting, pitching environment, so that's good. But Luis Castillo, going to be an interesting option today as well. We have Ian Anderson taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. We'll continue to target them. Not a good lineup up and down. They had a big game last night, but I don't think that's going to be a trend. 26.1% K overall, 24.1% K rate against righties, and a 28.6% K rate against lefties. Actually does do a lot better against left-handed hitting. So when you're looking at the Pittsburgh Pirates lineup up and down, you can see they do have quite a few lefties blended in there. They are mostly right-handed heavy, but they only have a 3.63 implied run total. Like I said, I do think that this is going to be a great spot for Ian Anderson. And he gets a ballpark pitching upgrade because Pittsburgh is a great pitcher's ballpark in comparison to Atlanta. So I like him today. We have Tony Gonsolin taking on the Miami Marlins, another guy that we could have interest in taking on a team that is pretty K-happy and in a pitching environment that's really good, actually. So, we're talking about all these bad pitching environments. Tony Gonsolin gets to go into Miami, which is, one of the best pitching environments in baseball. The only problem is looking at his game logs here. As far as pitch count, we have seen him be somewhat limited last time out, 52 pitches, the time before 69. I haven't really seen him stretched out, so that's a little concerning to me. I'd have a lot more interest in him over on FanDuel, where his price is 6.3 as comparison to DraftKings, where his price is 7.6. Definitely take advantage of the discount there. Then once we get past him, things start to definitely dip down. I mean, we have Steven Matz taking on Baltimore. It could be an interesting option. Framber Valdez taking on Oakland. He has a good ground ball, fly ball rates. K stuff's decent enough to where we could have interest in him. Jameson Taillon taking on Seattle is a great matchup for him. There's a lot of strikeouts to be had. Not the best lineup up and down. Problem is Jameson Taillon really does struggle against left-handed hitting, really when he struggles. And looking at the Seattle Mariners lineup as far as what they're expected to roll out today, they do have a fairly mixed lineup, so that could be a concern of his. He is a 151 favorite, though, and the Seattle Mariners only do have a 4.1 implied run total. And he's going from pitching in a stadium like Yankee Stadium to the Seattle Ballpark, which is a much better pitching environment. So you got to like him a little bit today. And then the guys that I kind of skipped over here that you could have interest in as well would be Dane Dunning and Jose Berrios, depending on their matchups. I mean, these both guys are very similar pitchers, to be honest. So you're scrolling across the board and on my chart here, they're pretty much identical. Jose Berrios gives up a little bit more slugging to lefties, but they pretty much have the same exact K rates, good ground ball, fly ball stuff against righties. And they're both in decent matchups. So you do prefer to both target them against right-handed heavy lineups if at all possible, looking at the two that they're taking on today. First, Jose Berrios taking on the Chicago White Sox. They do have a pretty blended lineup up and down as far as righty-lefty, but I'm not too scared about this Chicago White Sox lineup right now. To be honest, I think Jose Berrios could have a pretty high strikeout rate game. And the same was going to apply for Detroit. It's in Texas, not the best pitching environment. Really not too scared about them, though. Dane Dunning can be a little bit inconsistent, but he does have plenty of upside. So with that being said, Steven Matz would be the last guy you could look to take on this Baltimore squad. I don't really like playing Steven Matz all that much, to be honest, but can't leave him out. And with that being said, let's go ahead and transition over to bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, scalar active ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been so far in his career and how good he's expected to be in the future. And the worst guy on the slate today is going to be Javier Rodriguez taking on the San Diego Padres. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's really not good. Hard contact stuff's really bad. He gives up a 368 slugging to righties and a 453 slugging to lefties. So we do really prefer to target him with left-handed pitching, if at all possible. It gives up more slugging, gives up more fly ball. So the San Diego Padres lefties specifically, I'm going to have a lot of interest in. I mean, overall, I'm going to have interest in the stack regardless. I definitely do like the righties as well. They have enough talent. But guys like Jake Cronenworth, Trent Grisham, Eric Hosmer, Victor Caratini are in really good spots. Of course, you can round out your stacks with guys like Tommy Pham, Fernando Tatis, and Trent Grisham. No issues with that whatsoever. Or not Trent Grisham, I'm sorry. Manny Machado, Tommy Pham, and Fernando Tatis. Then Will Myers. So yeah, definitely like targeting him today. Second on the list, we have Chad Kuhl taking on the Atlanta Braves, another guy that's very easy to target. Does do a much better job against right-handed hitting than he does against left-handed hitting. Has been traditionally just very, very bad against lefties. Bad ground ball stuff, bad slugging. For that reason, of course, we do have a great left-handed hitter in the form of Freddie Freeman. He's going to be a tremendous option on the slate today. Ozzie Albies in the 3 spot as well. And you can definitely target Kuhl with right-handed hitting as well. So, I'm going to like the Atlanta Braves stack for sure today. Jose Urena taking on the Texas Rangers. He has a pretty good ground ball, fly ball stuff overall, but I mean, the guy's been terrible all year long. He gives up a bunch of slugging, a 382 slugging to righties, a 575 slugging to lefties. So really bad against lefties. Specifically, my home run call last night in Joey Gallo is going to be a great spot again tonight. Taking on this guy that really struggles against left-handed hitting. You're going to like Nate Lowe, Joey Gallo, Jonah Heim, all have plenty of power. David Dahl, Brock Holt. Definitely like those guys. You can definitely play the righties around at your stacks. I mean, Adolis Garcia in the 3 spot has a bunch of power as well. No issues with it. Just keep in mind, Jose Urena is a little bit better against those righties. Doesn't give up quite as much slugging. So we do really greatly prefer those lefties. We have Dean Cremer taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. He has been terrible all season long, and he's taking on one of the best lineups in baseball. Ground ball, fly ball stuff is terrible. Hard contact stuff does not quite get the job done as far as slugging. A 557 slugging to righties, 390 WOBA. Lefties, a 441 slugging. The ground ball, fly ball stuff is terrible as well. But I mean, a 557 slugging against righties is not going to get the job done. The Toronto Blue Jays have a very talented right-handed heavy lineup, and they are in Baltimore where it is a great hitting environment. So that's going to be kind of scary. We have Adam Plutko listed as a possible starter here, so a little bit of conflicting reports. Regardless, I believe Plutko's numbers are very similar to Cremer's. Both these guys are really bad. So apologies for not being able to tell you the exact pitcher that's going to be above today. But regardless, I know for a fact these Toronto Blue Jays are going to be in a great spot. When you're pulling up Camden Yards as far as a hitting environment is concerned in Baltimore, really good stuff. Green across the board as far as term runs. You love to target Camden Yards. And I'm going to have plenty of interest in the Toronto Blue Jays offense today for sure. Marcus Semien, Boucher, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., George Springer, Teoscar Hernandez, Cavan Biggio, Randall Grichuk, Lourdes Gurriel, Reese McGuire. This lineup is absolutely loaded all the way through the 8th spot. Reese McGuire, not exactly the best hitter in the world, but if you need to catch it around out your stacks, I have no issues with it because he should have plenty of opportunities to swing the bat. So I like those guys today. Brad Anderson taking on the New York Mets. Really good ground ball, fly ball stuff. Honestly, I don't really like targeting him. He can give up his fair share of runs, but as far as DFS, we really need those home runs. It's in Citi Field, not the best hitting environment, and he doesn't give up a lot of fly balls, so I'm not all too interested in that. Jake Arrieta taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. We had mentioned the hitting environment in Chicago. He's a lot better against righties than he gets lefties, but lefties he really, really struggles. So for that reason, we're going to love Bryce Harper today for sure in this game, as well as Odubel Herrera. Got to like those guys, and you can round out your stacks with Didi Gregorius, of course, and then the righties as well. Gene Segura, JT Realmuto, Andrew McCutchen, Rhys Hoskins, they all have plenty of power. Definitely do lean towards targeting those lefties today, but the Philadelphia Phillies stack overall not going to be an issue with going to that whatsoever. Chris Bubic taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Definitely going to be a great option for the Cincinnati Reds hitters here. He does give up a lot of slugging to righties as well as lefties. Ground ball, fly ball stuff really isn't the best. However, isn't really the worst. However, I do think we can kind of deal with it. I mean, the hitting weather here is great. It's 88 degrees in Kauffman Stadium. The outfield's huge, as mentioned. There's plenty of opportunities for those balls to land if they hit them in the gap. And the Reds lineup really just fares well against left-handed pitching. Guys like Jonathan India, Nick Castellanos, Tyler Stevenson, Eugenio Suarez, Aristides Aquino, Kyle Farmer all hit left-handed pitching very well. Going to have lots of interest in them. And then don't forget about Joey Votto in the 5 spot. He also does a very good job of hitting off both handedness of pitchers. So, like that spot today. Justice Sheffield taking on the New York Yankees. They're definitely in a great spot taking on Sheffield, who gives up a 469 slugging to righties, a 365 WOBA overall. Very right-handed heavy lineup do the Yankees have. Unfortunately, they haven't been the hottest offense in the world. It's in Seattle, which is the best hitting environment. But if you want to go to this stack today, I wouldn't call you crazy whatsoever. DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, Giancarlo Stanton, Luke Voigt, Gleyber Torres, Gio Urshela, up and down. And they added Tim LaCastro in the 9 spot, who actually does hit lefties very well. Not so hot against right-handed hitting, but against lefties, he can swing it pretty good. We have Johnny Cueto taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. He's very easy to explain. Really struggles against left-handed hitting in particular. A 5-12 slugging get against those lefties. So if you're looking to target the Cardinals lineup today, you really want to target those lefties. Unfortunately, they don't really have the most left-handed heavy lineup. And it's in San Francisco, which is a terrible hitting environment. And it's only 59 degrees. Looks like there could be 28-mile-an-hour winds blowing out the straightaway center, though. So that's interesting. That could be a little bit of a jet stream situation. San Francisco is a ballpark that's designed to really limit wind. But when you're talking winds that extreme, I'm sure it's going to have some sort of an impact. So if that reigns true throughout the day, that might be something to keep your eye on for sure. Ryan Weathers taking on the Washington Nationals is a guy you can definitely target with right-handed power. The guy has a terrible ground ball fly ball rate and a bunch of hard contact giving up with a 431 slugging. I love targeting him with right-handed power, to be honest. Alcides Escobar they just added. They got Trey Turner expected to be back in the lineup. That would be huge. Ryan Zimmerman, Starlin Castro, Yan Gomes, Josh Harrison, Victor Robles all do fare pretty well against left-handed pitching. I think the Washington stack could definitely be interesting today. Arizona taking on John Gray. I'm really not looking to target these Arizona bats all that much, to be honest. If I am, it's going to be the left-handed hitters. I'm not getting all too excited to target them, to be honest. And as we're scrolling along the slate today, I'm not really getting too excited about anyone else as far as from a stacking aspect. I think we've kind of covered everything that I really would be interested in for the most part. Merrill Kelly's a guy that we'd like to target with pretty much any power, but specifically right-handed power. So the Colorado Rockies right-handed bats could definitely be interesting on this slate today. They do have some guys that definitely can slug in the forms of Trevor Story, of course, and then you do have Brendan Rodgers, CJ Crone as well, and Jonathan Daza at the top of the order. So if you want to go there as a sneaky stack, sure, it's really not the most appealing stack. And like I said, once you get past down these guys, there's really not a whole lot to like. I'm not really getting all too excited to target anyone. So I would say that's pretty much my overall breakdown here. Those would be the stacks I'm looking to. That's my pitchers on this slate today. And with that being said, before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. taking on Dean Cremer. We do have some conflicting reports upon whether it's going to be Dean Cremer or Adam Plucko, but I did some diving for you guys just to ensure this is a good spot no matter what. Both really struggle against right-handed power. That is confirmed by the numbers, and both throw very similar pitches as far as repertoires. Both very reliant on the fastball, both ranging right around the 90 to 94 mile an hour range, and Vladimir Guerrero absolutely crushes those pitches. Looking at that stuff overall, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has a 378 ISO with a 512 WOBA. Love the ballpark, love the spot, and I'm calling Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to go deep twice tonight. First time I've ever done that in the home run call. Love this spot. He's going deep twice. Get him in your lineups because he is my double home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Get him in your lineups. Being a little bit bold with the double home run call. If you stayed to the end of the video, go ahead and comment that you stayed to the end of the video down below. Really do appreciate the guys that watch the video all the way through. Anyone that supports and really watches all of my content. Really do appreciate it. So I want to give you a shout out. If you watched all the way through, go ahead and comment down at the bottom. Watched all the way through, watched the end, watched the whole thing, whatever way you want to say it. Definitely give you a shout out, and I do appreciate you. And for those that have stayed to the end, I want to give you guys a few prize picks right now. As far as my favorite picks, we talked about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Going to love him with a 10.5 score over here on prize picks. I do like Boucher in that same game at 9.5 if you want to go there. I think the Toronto Blue Jays lineup's going to really definitely turn the lineup over multiple times here in this game today. Ronald Acuna Jr. is in a great spot taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher in Chad Kuhl, but I'm not quite sure he's going to be one of my top prize picks today. I'd much rather go to Freddie Freeman, who we discussed in a great spot against those against Chad Kuhl with the left-handed splits. So I think he's in a great spot today. As far as anyone else scrolling along the list, Joey Gallo taking on Jose Arenado with those left-handed splits. I think he's in a great spot today. And then as far as one more pick, we had mentioned Nick Castellanos in the Cincinnati Reds taking on the lefty and Chris Bubic. Love him a lot. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks for you. That would be your 5 correct pick plays. If you hit, that's 10x your money, 10x your entry. Those are the 5 guys that I'm going to be going with today over on Prize Picks. Use KJK DFS as a promo code when you use the link below in the description to start that today. Go lock those picks in and win some money tonight. And with that being said, if you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That would be greatly appreciated. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.